Hello and welcome to a whole nother awesome video. So today I want to talk to you guys about something that is going on in technology. If you guys didn't know this, remember way back I said that they were going to create a new format, and I was joking and saying that it was going to be called Blu-Ray. Well, now it's actually going to be called 4K Blu-ray disc. And if you didn't know about this, Sony, Samsung, they're supposed to be in development with a 4K disc based players. Basically, this can fit way more information than you've ever imagined, and the 4K disc based players are supposed to be released this Christmas. So what does this mean? What does all of this mean? Okay, now a lot of you are going to argue with me on this, right? But from what I've heard, a lot of stuff is going on, and 4K TVs are getting really cheap, and you can get a 40-inch for like $699 to like $630 or whatever, like a good one, like an LG or a Samsung or whatever, and you can even get a 55-inch for like $1,200 right now. And these TVs used to be like $5,000, right? They've come down in price, like crazy, insane, right? So, what is going to be the next gen based consoles in the future? Well, clearly Sony and Microsoft are working on the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox 2 because current consoles can't handle 4K gaming. So that's going to be on the rise. This isn't going to be they already have technology that can do 4K gaming in PCs, except it's a very high-end PC. And PC gamers laugh at console gamers because they don't have the technology to basically do 4K gaming. They're like, haha, we are the master race. We have the best machine or whatever, whatever. But this hardware is going to become cheaper as this goes on. So years from now, they say like 70 years from when the first console comes out, they usually come out with a new console, right? So PlayStation 4 and Xbox One are not going to concentrate on 1080p gaming anymore. It is going to be about 4K because everything is going to be 4K in the future. 8K is really a fad. Nobody is going to accept 8K. I mean, you might be able to buy 8K TVs, but it's basically pointless. I mean, you can't even stream 8K content unless you have an insane bandwidth. And, that's crazy insane for Netflix. Netflix had just gone on board for, streaming 4K shows like Breaking Bad and all that. So as technology, goes along, so does consoles. Now, a lot of people are going to argue with me about this, but the future of console gaming is definitely going to be 4K because they're going to use old PC tech. But they're also going to introduce something that is new. Because we got to remember when the PlayStation 3 came out, it had a brand new software basically. And this software, it was called Blu-ray disc, and it was branded by Sony. Okay, and Sony has been the forefront of Blu-ray discs. Think about it, okay? So they are definitely got their hands in this 4K disc based Blu-ray because they're the ones behind the TVs and all that. And of course Panasonic is involved. They've created their own 4K disc based player and all that. And all these players are coming out, and LG and even Samsung is supposed to be rumored to be making one, right? So years from now, we're definitely going to have a PlayStation 5 and an Xbox 2 that does 4K gaming. But right now, they're concentrating on 1080p gaming because that is the next gen of now. The next gen of next gen is going to be definitely more 4K content, more 4K gaming, which is why they've invented a new 4K disc-based format. This doesn't just mean that we can fit 4K movies on them we're talking about large amounts of gigabytes, up to 100 and maybe even above, maybe to 300 gigabytes on one disk, 100 to 300. Of course, we're going to have to increase our memory basically in our consoles. So you could see a console with probably I would say at least a terabyte to 2 terabytes. There'll be different models probably, but I'm gonna say that PlayStation 5 and Xbox 2 are definitely gonna be 4K based, because this is going to be the future of technology. 4K is definitely becoming the forefront of everything we know. And 7 years from now, 7 or 8 years from now, 4K is going to be like 1080p, and 1080p is going to be like standard def. And everything's going to be kind of backwards. Everything's going to become affordable. And that's basically what happens with new technology. Like when the first 1080p TVs came out, they were insanely expensive. Now 4K is almost as cheap as a 1080p TV, you know what I mean? And because of the economy and everything. So I'm definitely going to say that PlayStation 5 and Xbox 2 are going to be 4K gaming. And that is the future of technology. And please like, subscribe to this channel. I do lots of reviews on here. I review stuff. I talk about stuff. I like to talk about technology-based stuff because that's always fun to talk about, basically. And I really wanted to get my views on what I thought was going to be the future of technology. So, yeah, I'm definitely ready for this, and I love looking at new technology. I mean, they're coming out with new things like high dynamic range, which is basically just better blacks or whatever. And I mean, whatever, you know. But Netflix is going to include that too. So people that have high dynamic range are going to have that too, right? And they're coming up with all kinds of new forms of technology, OLED. Everything you can think of. It's getting crazy insane. 4K is becoming the forefront of everything, but I personally don't like OLED TVs, and that is because of the burn-in problems with OLED that also faces plasma. OLEDs can get burn-ins very easy. I think Samsung's new technology is pretty interesting. I kind of like it, and I really like LG's prices, and they got nice blacks on their IPS technology, or even whatever, you know. They're coming out with all kinds of new forms of 4K TVs. It's getting crazy insane. So definitely 4K gaming is going to become the forefront of what we have now. And next gen is going to be 4K. So get ready for that. I know that most of you are not ready for this, but it is becoming affordable. So that's my thoughts on the Xbox 2 and the PlayStation 5. Let's get ready for this. Have an awesome night, everyone.